Cran-apple butter is probably my favorite of all of the apple butters. And I think it's because it's so smooth, and it's my favorite to eat on meat, on turkey. It's so good because it has that cranberry component, but the apple as well. I mean, just super delicious on pork. You could probably eat it on toast, but I have to admit, the primary thing I like it on is my meat, even my chicken. I mean, everything's good on chicken now. I really like to make my apple butters when I'm making apple juice because the top section of it is full of just apple pulp. And generally speaking, you would throw that out if you were making juice, but I don't. I make apple butter. So this cran apple butter starts with 6 3/4 cups of apple pulp, which is the pulp from about 4.5 to 5 pounds of apples. And I'll start with placing that into my blender. This is how it gets so smooth. I really like it. Sometimes the chunks are nice, but I don't know. I like it smooth. And then I add 2 cups of cranberry juice to it. This is the moisture that it will need in order to blend really well. And then I'll blend it up smooth. I'll then pour my mixture into my pan. I always use a spatula because there's so much that gets stuck on the side of the blender. You don't really realize it. You think it's only a little, but it adds up. I'll then add 4 cups worth of cranberry juice. This will make it get nice and dark. And 3 cups of sugar. I'm gonna be at the edge of my pan here. Wouldn't be the first time. 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. Look how festive that looks. Just right there, you can get the idea. And then I mix it in well, gently, because I'm at the edge of my pan. And I'll put this on the stove and I'll get it to a nice simmer and keep it there until it's nice and thick. I love this one. So now it's nice and thick and spreadable. And I'll want to fill my pint-sized jars up to 1/4 of an inch of headspace, which is the space from the top of the food to the top of your jars. This is kind of perfect, you guys. It'll thicken up even more as it cools, although I actually like eating it warm when I put it on my meat. I brought it one year for Thanksgiving, and my sister, who loves cranberry sauce, was so impressed. She didn't think that she would like it, but she said that it has now replaced cranberry sauce. I really like to use a spatula for the last little bit because I've been amazed a number of times that I've been able to get a whole nother jar just because of what I scraped off the sides. Then I'll use a clean, damp cloth to clean off the rims of my jars. And this just makes it so that if there was any food on the rims, that it won't interfere with the seal. And I place my lids on fingertip tight. I'll then place these in the boiling water bath and process them for 10 minutes if I'm at sea level. I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'll go for 15. Now that it's come to a full rolling boil, I'll set the timer. Now that my timer's gone off, I'll remove the lid, turn off the heat, and let it cool for 5 minutes. Then I take them out of the canner and put them on a heat-resistant surface. I usually space them about 1 to 2 inches apart just so they can cool a little bit faster, and then I'll leave them on the counter undisturbed for 24 hours. After that point, I'll remove the rings and use hot soapy water to clean off the jars. Then I'll store them in a cool, dark place and use them in the next 1 to 3 years.